Welcome back. So it's time to do another news of the week episode, and we're gonna jump straight in by talking about the game between the U.S. versus Morocco in yesterday international friendly, which the U.S. were able to win 3-0 against Morocco, courtesy of goal from Brendan Eriksson in the 26th, Timothy Weah in the 32nd, and Haji Wright in the 64th minute via the penalty spot. Now, I didn't watch the whole game. I only watched part of this one. But the parts that I watched in this one, I was kind of impressed with how the U.S. played against Morocco. Now, I will say that the scoreline didn't really kind of indicate the fact that, the U.S., while they were good against Morocco, they weren't dominant against them. And it's not a big surprise because, I think this game coming in, there was definitely a big question of can they, of course, face against teams that is going to be in the World Cup, and we know Morocco is going to be, and the answer to that is yes, they can definitely go toe to toe with these teams. And keep in mind, Morocco is a decent team. I mean, even though I know Hakim Ziyech did not play in this game for Morocco, but that guy called Hakimi, that is considered one of the best fullback in plays for PSG. Yeah, he played in this game, and I thought the U.S. did a good job in terms of shutting him down for most of the game, because for most of the game he wasn't really effective with Morocco. And as I said, him along with Ziyech are probably the most important player for this Moroccan national team. But yeah, overall, this was a game where the U.S. kind of looked like the better team, but Morocco did had some chances, and that Matt Turner did had to make some good save. And it's kind of safe to say that I know there's been that ongoing question about the goalkeeping situation. Seems like as of now, maybe Matt Turner has the role, because he played very well in this game. And also, I think it's going to be interesting in the next game when they play against Uruguay, whether or not if Greg Berhalter might even go with Zach Steffen, and maybe that could be like a litmus test to kind of compare how both of these goalkeepers are. But as of now, it seems like Matt Turner does have the edge, but let's see if he's going to be playing in the next game, or Zach Steffen is going to take that role. Now, obviously, besides the story of the U.S., of course, getting a win against Morocco, another big story kind of came out of this game is the comment that Christian Pulisic made after the game, where he called out the U.S. men's national team fan base and basically said that he was not happy with the lack of U.S. fans in attendance in this game. Now, I can understand his frustration, because I as even though I didn't watch most part, or I didn't watch the whole part of this. I mean, I did watch most part of it. I definitely noticed that there was a lot of Moroccan fans. There was a lot of red and green in that crowd. And in the first half, there were definitely some noise that was provided, and some atmosphere provided by those Moroccan fans. And, I can understand that Pulisic is frustrated, because, you're playing at home. You shouldn't be playing in a game where the away fans basically just dominate the stands. But I think there is obviously a reason why that is the case. And it's not just because of the fact that this game is once again playing in Cincinnati, and once again we have a U.S. game that is playing in Ohio, and that I know a lot of U.S. fans are probably fed up with how many games that the national team currently play in Ohio. Like, I think in these last couple of years alone, they played like a lot of games either in Cincinnati or in Columbus. But I think the big reason why maybe there wasn't as many U.S. fans as we've seen before is because this is a friendly, and the U.S. are charging people like $100 to attend this game. Like, that is just I've said many times before, I think this is absolutely ridiculous that the U.S. are continuing to charge fans that much to attend a friendly game. And when you charge people a friendly, if it's against a tier A kind of team, like one of the best team in the world, which in the next one that the U.S. are going to be playing against Uruguay, then I guess it kind of makes sense, because you are playing against a more well-known national team. And I'm not disrespecting Morocco of saying that they're not a well-known team. I mean, I know that they have some good player in their team, but I just kind of feel like for a midweek game like that in Cincinnati, you should be charging fans like $100 to attend the game. And that it's no wonder why a lot of U.S. fans kind of stay away, because we talk about so much about how it feels like the U.S. Soccer Federation is clearly pricing out those hardcore fans that of attending these games. And it was also kind of showed the fact that the atmosphere of this game, besides the one that Moroccan fans provided, it was bad. Like, it was pretty bad in terms of how the overall atmosphere of this game, and that, yeah, I mean, it's also no surprise that there was at least some empty seats in that stadium. Like, not in the lower bowl. I thought the lower bowl was pretty full, but that's because there was a lot of Moroccan fans in attendance in the lower bowl. But the upper bowl, you can definitely see there was a lot of empty seats, and it's not a big surprise because, when you have an irrelevant friendly, and you're basically charging people like $100 or even $200 to attend a game, it is absolutely ridiculous. Now, moving on in terms of the next news, and now kind of talk about a news that's been the talking point around MLS, and I did talk about this and made an individual video about this back on Tuesday, is the whole Miguel Angel Ramierez firing. There's still just so much speculation of why exactly Charlotte decided to let him go. Well, it seems like now we do get a bit of a hint that the reason why Miguel Angel Ramierez was fired from Charlotte FC was because of front office conflict, specifically with sporting director Zoran Caneta. Now, this was kind of something that I said during that video that I made, where it feels like maybe the reason why Charlotte decided to let Miguel Angel Ramierez go is because of the fact that he's been creating some beef with the front office. And we've seen this before, where when a head coach have some beef with the front office or with ownership, it's not going to end well. And at least for now, it seems like that, of course, is the case. But then I heard that there was even some more speculation saying that this isn't really the only reason why Miguel Angel Ramierez got fired. Apparently, I have heard some reports suggesting that, one of the DP for Charlotte FC, and, I think everybody know who exactly it is. It has to be Karol Świderski, because he's like the only named player that I think is on that DP tag right now for Charlotte FC. But, a lot of people are saying that he probably is the reason that, he basically talked to the front office or even the ownership group and kind of demand that Miguel Angel Ramierez to be fired, or else he's not going to be playing for this team anymore after the international break. Now, if that, of course, is the case, then this just makes it even worse look for Charlotte. I mean, this is already a bad look for Charlotte in terms of the mess that they have to deal with the front office ever since coming into the league. But now the fact that it seems like if this is one of the bigger reason why Miguel Angel Ramierez is fired. I mean, the old saying, no players is bigger than the club. Yeah, this should be the reason, and that if this, of course, is the case where, we do see one instant where a player can have the power to basically get a head coach fired, that is not a good look for the team. And that, again, there's still so much speculation of how this firing happened, and that, even going back to the main reason why, with Miguel Angel Ramierez having some beef with the sporting director Zoran Caneta, himself, he hasn't really mentioned a lot of why exactly he fired Miguel Angel Ramierez. I mean, even when he was speaking to the media, he basically decided to not be transparent and basically said that, look, it sucks that we have to do this, but we had to do what's best for the team, and that I'm not going to say anything else. And that's what's, I think, saying even frustrate Charlotte fans more, because of the fact that, they want transparency. They want to see what's going on, and that, right now, because of just the minimum information that we got, and if it is indeed the case that, there's some front office dispute that going on, and not to mention with the other situation with Karol Świderski might have had the power to basically talk to the front office and convince them to fire Miguel Angel Ramierez. I mean, yeah, this Charlotte team is in deep trouble. Like this, I've said that even in that video, the fact that, who wants to go to this team and be a head coach? Like, I don't think this is a really good destination for any head coach to coming in, when you just find out of how you have a front office that, seems like they're very, very limited in terms of how their head coach can span on the squad, and also kind of have a very authoritarian kind of ways, where if you don't do what we ask you to do, you are potentially going to end up in the chopping block. And also, it feels like the power of the players, especially from one individual player, if he said something bad about the head coach and said it to the front office, then the front office will immediately act. I mean, again, that's just not a good look for this team. And that, again, I mean, it's so far this is kind of the only information that we will get. We'll see whether or not if there's going to be more information. But something tells me again, I don't think we might get more information because of the fact that Canada has immediately shut things down. So I'll talk about how we're not going to give any more reports or any more information of why exactly we fired Miguel Angel Ramierez. All we're just gonna say is that we're basically moving on and hope that things are gonna be better without Miguel Angel Ramierez. Now, moving on, in terms of the next news, is that the New England Revolution has reported that they have sold Adam Buxa to RC Lens. In fact, this is pretty much official because on the RC Lens Twitter page, they basically had a picture of Adam Buxa basically holding the jersey. So this is pretty much done. And, I think the only thing why it still says it's a report is they don't know exactly how much the Revs are going to get by selling Adam Buxa to RC Lens. Though, this is an interesting club to sell him to. Like, I would assume when the Revs are going to sell Buxa, it might be to more of a well-known team. Now, I will say this. I did look at the standings of league just before I did this video, and I will say that RC Lens did had a good season last year in league. Actually finished 7th in the league, so it's not like Adam Buxa is going to a team that is obviously awful in league. And we've seen this before where big name players go to Europe and they join a team that may be a relegation no threatened team, and that they could potentially be in trouble. But I don't think that's going to be the case, and that I definitely wish Buxa the best, and certainly the Revs, they hope that when they do get the detail in terms of their transfer offer, which I'm assuming it's probably going to be big money, because we have heard a lot about how Buxa potentially is going to Europe, and that fee is going to be like something like $10 million. I'm assuming that fee is going to be somewhere like that, because it kind of doesn't make sense, the fact that they decide to pass up on some deal where, remember how there was rumor of him going to the Serie B club called Pisa FC or something like that, and that they basically rejected the deal, even though that club was giving like $10 million to get Adam Buxa. This would not make sense if the transfer fee is nothing close to that. Though I will say that if there is going to be a big sell-on fee, then maybe it will justify if the transfer fee is not as high as what some of the previous offers that they recently reject. Now, St. Louis SC have signed Swedish defender Joakim Nelson, although this one is one that, I thought this was already officially announced, and that I was kind of surprised that they announced this again, the fact that they have signed him there. But I guess, yeah, I mean, maybe a couple of months ago when I heard this deal, this was just kind of a report, even though they said that they pretty much have signed him. But now they, of course, have signed him, and yeah, St. Louis continue to build up this team. And all I'll say is, I hope that St. Louis is not going to be as a disastrous fest as what we've seen with Charlotte FC. I mean, they've said many times that they're not going to be like Charlotte FC, even kind of trolling Charlotte when the Crown came into the league, of the fact that they're not going to charge people with PSL kind of tickets to buy their season ticket. But yeah, we'll see how St. Louis is going to do next year. Now, another move that is pretty much all but done is that LAFC is set to complete the deal to sign Giorgi Chiellini. In fact, Chiellini had already mentioned the fact that he has played his last game with Juventus, and that he is going to be going to MLS very soon as July. And again, this is kind of a signing that, it's kind of interesting in some way, where I can understand why some of these kind of well-known European players that is kind of the twilight of their career decide to come to MLS and come to a big market like LA. And also, this definitely does not help to continue the ongoing kind of just way past kind of argument. Well, actually not way past, that's actually not the right way to say, but more like an argument that it feels like it's become very stale, of the fact that MLS is basically a retirement league, and this is a good example of that. But overall, when you look at this signing, I mean, I guess, I don't know if Chiellini is going to be a regular starter, because when you look at this LAFC backline, it's pretty decent, and that, I guess maybe this is a move that they decide to make because they think that maybe Mamadou Fall potentially is going to be going to Europe, and Chiellini will be the replacement, which I mean, then you have the question of the fact that, well, Chiellini, he's near the twilight of his career, so, if you decide to sell Fall and put in Chiellini, it's not really kind of a long-term solution to this. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that they decided to sign him, but one thing I've also heard is that this is actually not going to be a DP signing, which I think this has got to be the biggest thing that comes out of this deal, where there was I'm pretty sure a lot of LAFC fans were worried the fact that this is a DP deal, and one of the cardinal sins of MLS is that you don't sign a DP, or you don't spend one of your DP on a center back, especially for the one that is near the twilight of his career. But it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So overall, I think this should be a decent signing, and maybe kind of just some more depth for this LAFC back line. Now, moving on in terms of the next news and talk about injury news. Ronald Hernandez is going to be out 3 to 4 months with an MCL injury, and as I mentioned before, Atlanta United is now the most cursed team right now in terms of injuries. Like it feels like this is a weekly kind of thing where every single week we heard there's a news about an Atlanta United player getting injured, and that I think this now brings even more of a discussion of the turf issue at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where most of the injuries that Atlanta United has suffered this season has come at home in that turf, and that I mean it definitely sucks for Atlanta that of course is the case, and that again I'm not going to get into too much of the turf discussion because I've kind of mentioned it before, and if I want to talk about it I'll probably make an individual about it. But not in the news of the week. But it's another tough break for Atlanta United, and that back line that is already very thin, it's now even thinner, and it's going to be now even more of a headache for Gonzalo Pineda to try to adjust that. Now, speaking of injury, Georgi Mihailovic, he will not be in the U.S. men's national team June camp after suffering a knee injury in the last game, and I swear, I feel like now there has to be a curse that's been put on Mihailovic of him not allowed to be with the U.S. men's national team, because I thought this was probably his best opportunity to do so, and then he suffered a knee injury. So, yeah, it's got to be a tough break for Mihailovic, and, I don't know if he is going to get another shot soon. I mean, I'm hoping he will get another shot, because I know with the season that he's been having with Montreal, it is absolutely criminal that it has now taken to when he finally gets a chance to be on with the U.S. men's national team and prove that he is definitely worth with this team and could maybe knocking on the doorstep of being in that World Cup roster. But with this latest setback, I think that pretty much almost ends him. I mean, he needs to continue the form or even get even better now that if he is going to be in the next camp, and even so he needs to perform in the next U.S. men's national team camp, which is before they of course go to the World Cup, if he has any shots of being in Qatar. So yeah, again, just a top break for Georgi Mihailovic, but it's just been as I said, it feels like it's a curse, the fact that he's just not allowed to be with the U.S. men's national team, and even when he get a chance to do so, he suffered an injury. Now, there is a report suggesting that Real Madrid is prepared to bid to sign Chicago Fire goalkeeper Gaga Slonina. Now, this is not the first time I've heard a big name club that have decided to sign Gaga Slonina away from the Fire, and I won't be surprised the Fire will reject this bid immediately, because I know for a fact that for Gaga Slonina, with how him has really struggled in these past month or so, I mean, this is just a good example of why the Fire need to just kind of keep hold of him and trying to continue to develop him in a way that before he's ready to go to Europe. And even when he does go to Europe, I doubt he's going to join a big team right away. And even if he is going to go to Real Madrid, there's no way he's going to be a starter for that team. I mean, that guy called Thibaut Courtois, who was really the man of the match in the Champions League final, yeah, he's going to be the number one goalkeeper if Gaga Slonina is going to come to Real Madrid. And at very best, I would think Slonina will be probably a third-string goalkeeper, and in a situation with the U.S. men's national team, with just so many of our national team goalkeeper decide to become backup goalkeeper in the Premier League, yeah, let's just hope that that's not going to be the same case with Slonina, and that, again, I'm kind of surprised that some of these goalkeepers like Matt Turner or Zach Steffen decide not to go on loan to somewhere else. I mean, I know Zach Steffen did go on loan to Dusseldorf, but after that, he just decided to stay with Man City, and I get that Matt Turner really want to finally get a chance to play in Europe and especially play in a big team like or a very well known team in the Premier League that is Arsenal. But again, you just feels like if the national team is going to have a goalkeeper like Tim Howard or any goalkeeper that could be a decent number one for this team, they need to of course get minutes. And we know that as you're a goalkeeper, you don't get minutes, you're going to have that rust and not perform at the best as what we've seen with goalkeepers that regularly play, which is why there's so many discussion of Matt Turner potentially be the number one, because Zach Steffen hasn't got a lot of minutes while Matt Turner did with the Revs, and that's why Matt Turner basically is getting the hot hand. But now there's the question of, is he going to end up in the same situation that Zach Steffen is when he does go to Arsenal? Now, moving on in terms of the next match, and the player of the week award goes to Dejan Jovic, who of course won player of the week because he pretty much contributed all the goals that was scored from the Galaxy in that 4-1 win against Austin FC. But in terms of player of the month, it's Paul Arriola winning player of the month and continue to make his case that, yeah, he's basically going to cement himself of being with the U.S. men's national team, especially going to the World Cup in Qatar. So certainly a great month for him, and have really propelled this FC Dallas team to be one of the contender in the Western Conference right now. But moving on, in terms of other news, Canada, of course, will be playing Panama in a friendly on June 5th, and this has basically replaced the original friendly that they were going to be playing against Iran, but because of the, well, not Iran, but Iran. I always, when I see the word Iran, I always want to say that, but it's actually, the correct pronunciation is Iran. But obviously, after a lot of public kind of scrutiny about that friendly, it seems like Canada and the Canadian Soccer Confederation make the right move of decided to drop that friendly, and now it seems like they replaced it with playing against Panama. And while Panama is a team that, in terms of competition wise, it is a step down compared to what Canada gets to face against Iran, because Iran is another team that will be making it to the World Cup. In fact, the US is going to be playing against Iran as them being in the same World Cup group. But the fact that they are able to get a friendly done and get a country that is able to play a friendly in such a short notice, I think that's nothing short of a miracle. And yeah, a great opportunity for Canada to show that, yeah, that World Cup qualifying, that amazing run that we have, it's not going to stop there. We're going to continue to perform well in these friendly and also in the Nations League, and leads up to gaining some momentum once they head to the World Cup, where they're looking to become one of the underdog story in the World Cup. And there's a chance to do so, because when I look at this Canadian team, I think there is definitely a case that they can definitely make a good run, and that a run that probably nobody expected to them to do when they do go to the World Cup. But now, moving on into the final news of today. So we're going to do a quick preview of the one MLS game that's going to be happening this weekend. And yes, I know I said that MLS is kind of in a mini summer break with these June friendly, but there are still some MLS game that is going to happen. We only get one for this week, where the Vancouver Whitecaps are going to be playing against Real Salt Lake. The Whitecaps 4-2-7, while RSL have a 7-4-3 record. This game, of course, will start at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and will happen on June 4th, which is on Saturday. I didn't put the actual kickoff, but I think the actual kickoff is going to be 4:08 p.m. local time, or 4:11 p.m. local time, whichever that is, because I know usually for Whitecaps home game, it's usually kicked off about 8 minutes after or 11 after the original advertised kickoff time. But yeah, this is a game that it should be very interesting, because I think for the Whitecaps, they have definitely started to finally find their stride again, and slowly finally started to get away from that really slow start to the season, where they were sitting in the bottom of the Western Conference for a very long time, and that maybe Vanni Sartini has finally rediscovered that magic that he provided this Whitecaps team last season. But one thing I will also say about the Whitecaps is that this team is hard to beat at home. Like, this team, I think they've only lost once so far at home, and even going back to last year, this is also a team that is hard to beat at home. Now, they're playing against an RSL team that has been in really good form lately, and that it's not going to be easy for the Whitecaps to get all 3 points against a very confident RSL team. But, you know, we've seen before where the Whitecaps can play against a confident team, and they somehow will still get all 3 points or get at least a point at home. So, should be a very interesting matchup, and you know, of course, I will do a review of this game, most likely about an hour after this game is over, because I know that during this game I am going to ground hop a little bit, and there's a big game that I'm going to be attending in the Sports Hop series. I won't mention what it is. You guys are going to have to find out, because it is a game that I'm equally as looking forward to attend in the Sports Hop series, compared to what it was a couple of weeks ago when I went to watch the Quakes play against Sacramento Republic in the US Open Cup. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for some of the news that has happened in this past week. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all these news, and as always, if there's any news I didn't mention here on the board, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys see a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.